Hello, it's Robert Miner with Dynamic Traders Group with a DT trade strategies for the week beginning August 17th, 2020 for our YouTube and Twitter followers. This is a very brief video where we highlight a couple potential trade setups for the coming week. Much briefer than what we have for our regular DT report subscribers, but enough that hopefully you'll learn a little bit no matter what market or time frame you trade, and also it will prepare you for at least one or two trades in the coming week. If you like what you hear, check out my book, High Probability Trading Strategies, or a 1-month trial to one of our DT reports from just $19. Okay, let's get started. First, let's take a look at a couple of markets that we looked at last week, which was the VIXX and Bitcoin. Then we'll look at another one or two markets as well that might have some trades coming up this coming week. So first with the VIXX, we took a look at it last week that it looked like it was at or near a weekly low. And of course, the VIXX, even if it has these 3 to 5 day pops, they can be 20 to 30% percentage change wise. So when you get the weekly and the daily in line for a probable low, it's worth taking a look. But it is really illustrative of why trade strategies are as important as the analysis and identifying the trade. So here's the VIX again, VIXX, or excuse me, VXX. It's an ETF, and this past week was lower. It went down slightly. Our weekly momentums are dual look back oversold. They're in week 3 of being dual look back oversold with our DT oscillator. Usually within 4 bars, we get a price reversal, 4 bars of it being dual look back oversold. So again, we're right in the extremes of when we're likely to make a weekly low. This past week was the low to low to low, 10 weeks from the prior low. Before that, we had 9 weeks from a low to a low. And we're right in the high probability target zone to complete that low, around 2696, 2442. We're still in that area. Everything is still in place. So here's where trade strategies become really important. This is the daily data right up to date through last Friday. So we had this great 3-close bull reversal on Tuesday. So what the trade strategy in general that we use, and I recommend, is if you're in a position to make a reversal of 1 degree or another, and you get an initial reversal signal, in this case, this is a daily key reversal. In this case, it's actually a pretty powerful reversal signal. It's a 3-close reversal, where the close was outside day 3-close reversal. And of course, the daily momentum's made a bull reversal. Once we make that reversal, then we have a trade strategy that is usually a typical one is you take out the high of the reversal day and close higher. So that was our trade strategy that we had. Well, and what's the logical reason for that? Well, we have a reversal signal. We want to see some follow through. We want the market to tell us that it's probably made that reversal. And this is the same for any market in any time frame, pretty much. The concept's more important than the specifics. So here we were the last 3 days of the week is no follow through to this wide range outside reversal day. We just went essentially sideways for the last 3 days of the week. So that's why I have this green line drawn across the high, is that when I had alert set on it, that if we take out that high, and then if we're going to close above the prior day's close, then that's the specific go long, get long signal. So we continue, the technical position has not changed. So we continue with basically that trade strategy. What I've continued with is, since all of these days have been more or less inside that day, that we had a slight new low on Thursday. But a trade above Tuesday's high with a higher daily close is the entry signal. Now, we just made on Friday, in these little narrow range days, we did make a bear reversal in the 8 momentum. 13's still bullish, which is going to limit the downside. But if we take this Tuesday high out, then this is going to flip back up to bullish. It's just that simple. So this is a real chart, significant chart pattern where looks like we're winding into making maybe even a fairly significant low. Think of this, a lot of people call this a contracting triangle. There's different flag pattern, bullish flag, and that once we break out of it, it'll be pretty sharp. Think of it like this way. Think of chart patterns very logically and simply. Here's a market that indeed has continued to decline pretty consistently, made lower lows to a new low, but each time it's like a spring that's being wound up. Each time the range is a little narrower and we're closing in. That's what we call it, a contracting triangle. And once this low is complete, the longer it takes before it completes the low, it's probably the harder the thrust out of it. So just keep that in mind, and given that the weekly momentums are the third week of oversold, we could have a pretty sharp thrust out of this. So develop your trade strategies to go long, make the market indicate that it's making that reversal and confirming that reversal to go long. The setup is just the same as we described last week. We just have to have the market itself trigger us into the trade. The other market that we featured last week was Bitcoin. I don't know how many of you trade Bitcoin. I don't trade Bitcoin, but I have a lot of subscribers that do. So every now and then, when we're at some turning point, potential turning point, is I'll include it in our reports. And what we're looking at last week is a potential high that we're near an extreme, and we'll look at both weekly and daily. So here's the weekly. This is actually a different wave count from Elliott wave terms that I showed last week, and I've changed it a bit because the weekly momentums have got overbought. And the DT oscillator is quite reliable that once we get overbought, it's at least a really strong warning that we're at or near a weekly high. So we were looking for a probable high last week, and to complete this 5-wave advance from the March low, right around the 78.6% retracement. Well, we did make it a little higher last week. We did close a little bit higher. So this is the daily data. And again, I got my cursor on last Friday. Monday, we did make a slightly higher high. We closed higher. And then we had a sharp reversal and essentially sideways since then. Is that, have we finished that wave 5 and weekly high? Probably, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. And that's why I have a question mark there. But the upside should be really limited. So it doesn't look like we make these big moves, but for Bitcoin, these are big percentage moves. So if we're at or near a weekly high, you want to either get your stops close to the market, get out of the market, and wait for the next opportunity. So the daily momentum is oversold. More than likely, we'll be sideways to up for 2 or 3 days. But the next daily momentum bear reversal will put daily and weekly momentums in sync to complete that weekly high. Now, whether that's made above this week's high or below this week's high, it should be the final thrust before we complete the weekly high. So just be aware of that. Again, the technical positions usually don't change significantly week to week. So if 1 week we're in a position to complete a significant reversal, and even if the market continues, is that in this case, like the upside's fairly limited, but you want to develop specific trade strategies to either exit the market, knowing that you're near a weekly high, and potentially even to short the market. Okay, let's take a look at a trade opportunity, another one coming up this week, something different. I'm going to take a look at the dollar index. So anything I talk about the dollar index, it's just the opposite with the euro. So if you don't trade the dollar index, just think of, if I'm looking to go long on the dollar index, the exact same strategy is to go short with the euro. And here we are, the dollar index from the March high, made this beautiful 5-wave decline, where wave 2 is right at the 50% retracement, wave 4 right at the 38, and the wave 5 low, or the potential wave 5 low, a couple of weeks ago, was right at the 100% alternate price projection of wave 3. Real typical target. And the weekly momentums have been dual look back oversold for either 4 or 5 weeks. So we're in those extremes from where we make a weekly low. And this would be a fairly significant low in the dollar, high in the euro. And where once we make those reversals, it should be for at least several weeks. Let me go to the daily. Here's the setup for you, is because On the weekly, we're all in position for that low. Is the next daily momentum bull reversal will put the daily and weekly momentums in sync to complete that weekly low. So that's what we're looking for just in the next few days, probably by the middle of this coming week. We'll make a daily momentum bull reversal. And that'll be the initial setup to consider a long trade. And right now, any close above the recent swing closing high will also confirm that this wave 5 low is complete. I'm a real believer in closing prices are very important, much more important than taking out swing highs and lows to traditional type of swing trading. So that's what we got. That's our trade strategy for this week, specific strategy. We make a bull reversal and the daily momentum, and then we look for a reversal day and a higher close to enter the market. If first we close above 93.60, that's the August 11th closing high, that's an immediate go long setup. Confirms that the wave 5 low should be complete, and we should have a wave or correction to the 5-wave decline. Where does the correction usually go? A correction to 5-wave decline usually reaches at least a 50% retracement and into the area of the range of the wave 4 of lesser degree. So right into the range of the June low to the July high. And it should last several weeks. So that's a fairly significant advance in the dollar. It'll be a fairly significant decline in the euro, and I think we're going to get that signal this coming week. That's why I'm telling you about it now. Well, that's it for today. Really check out our DT reports if you like what you're learning here, and if we're giving you some good information. I appreciate you checking out the videos. Be back with you again next week with another video.